My name is Prahan. I'm an attorney, and my background is in law and policy. The adjective that Hannah gave me is brilliant.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Wow. Okay. We'll take your wife's word for it.
Program manager with the federal government, and my objective is kind and knowledgeable.
Kind and knowledgeable. Okay. Yep.
My name is Bianca. I am an intern at the civic building.
Oh, cool.
And I'm pursuing to be an illustrator.
Got it.
My name is Jari Rasulasi. I'm an accountant and IT professional. I'm not currently working, and my objective is yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
My name is Abel. I am a co-founder.
Okay.
Professor in finance, and I'm also a consultant. My best adjective is in Amharic. It means mulu, means complete.
Complete. Okay. Cool.
Hi.
Finally. Cool. Yep. You're next one.
John?
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Joan Smith. I currently work full-time in local government. I am also going to school part-time, trying to transition into human resources, majoring in HR management. And as far as my objective, someone took it, so I'm going to use the second letter, which is O, and that stands for organized.
I'm always striving to be organized, but I don't think I'm there yet. So it's a good one. Did I just?
My name is, I'm the Internal Organization Development Consultant with the federal government. I have my own firm, the Alexander Consortium. I'm Chief Global Strategist, and I am great.
Cool. Cool.
I'm expecting a response, but I'm gonna say,
Oh no.
this is real. This guy sounds real, doesn't he? Gotta go. You know, this whole event is about what we just did. It's about you expressing yourself and naming what it is you want to be and naming where you are, right? So we help you to get from where you are to where you want to be. Are you with me? So I want to read a paragraph about 21st century community about what we are. This is something we are working on. It's not, we are an emerging organization. We are still, it's like, when an airplane takes off, we are still taking off, right? We are still taking off. I mean, we are not at the altitude where we need to be, so that's 21st century community. So I'll just read you, a statement we are working on and see if that fits you, okay? It reads, 21st century community inspires people to achieve their human potential so that they are A, have a decent quality of life, so that you have a decent quality of life. You get a job, you buy a home, with your family, you have enough to come in, that kind of stuff, right? Step number one. B, B, you are capable of contributing to the local community. Like you are in Montgomery, you become contributing members, and therefore helping the economy grow. And C, you are a positive force as global citizens. So we see ourselves as global citizens. You may be from Ethiopia, you may be from a region in Africa, you may be from Asia or Europe or Alaska, anywhere, but guess what? We are global citizens. And the idea behind that is you could be born anywhere and you land somewhere else and you feel at home. That's what that means. Okay? Listen, I was raised as a cattle herder. I'm not supposed to be here. A cattle herder at age 8. And now I'm a global citizen. Guess what? No matter where you are from, I can hang in with you, I can speak with you, I can talk with you, I can high-five you. That's the whole idea behind being a global citizen. So can you relate to that?
Yep.
So therefore, whether you are from Ethiopia or no Ethiopia, for today, we have two choices. Either we are all global citizens, or for one day, all of you are, by the power vested in me, all of you are Ethiopians. Come on. like that. For one day, for a couple of hours, we are here. So we are one brothers and sisters, or we are all global citizens. So we just want to feel, we don't want, let me say this. Let me speak for myself. I don't want anybody to feel out of place. So I want everyone to feel at home. And therefore, if you see someone who feels like they are out of place, please, the reason we gave you the bingo is so that you relate to someone, because guess what? We are 99% identical. Do you know that? You know, we are 99% identical. Only 1%, you may have different languages, different hairstyle, different skin color. The rest is 99% identical. So, 99. Okay. Now, with that said, I have a job to do, ladies and gentlemen. And I need to be out of here in no time. Okay, Martha. You mind coming up here? So, Martha and I have a job to do. We'll keep it short, right? Keep it short and easy. It's all going to be wonderful. By the way, Martha, how are you doing? Fantastic. You know, I met Martha for the first time yesterday. Oh my goodness. I don't know how to food at home. So, I met her yesterday. Today she's going to be a speaker. So, Bashar is still the real speaker. You're the real speaker. But we're going to do it something. Okay. Now, you know, I found out Martha Nagash is an amazing woman. And both of us are assigned to put on an event, and she's in charge, and I'm here to help her. So I'm really, please help me look good, okay? Because she's my boss for the purpose of this August event. Now, I found out she works as manager of human resources, all right? Manager of human resources for one of the largest companies in DMV. And therefore, I was thinking, you know what, who knows? She might have a couple of us, maybe 10 of us, 15 of us, maybe she might have her. Listen, you never know. Especially if you happen to be an engineer, she may have somebody there. So, be very nice, right? Very nice. Okay. Now, you know, I think she told me something. She told me that, you know, I can give you fish. And guess what? That fish you get tonight, then it'll be gone tomorrow, right? But Martha is about giving you how to fish for life. Okay? Now, with that said, Martha, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're willing. I'm so glad you're willing to speak with me. Okay. And do you mind sharing again, you know, your name and your adjective? I just want to share early on. Kind of the job you do. Just a little bit.
So my name is Martha Nagash. The adjective I job title is HR business partner, and I work for my profession. I didn't start as an HR professional when I came from Ethiopia. I have a law degree and into law school. And then when I came here, I said, okay, how do I practice law in the United States? And it's an inmate job, you know, I'm a woman, I'm black, and I'm all that, and it's against me. So I started searching for other opportunities, and I happened to run into HR professionals, and I said, okay, maybe that's something I can do, because it has a lot of policy, procedures, you know, law, employment law, and everything. So I changed my field and I went to HR, so I've been practicing HR for the past 15 years or so.
Yeah, fantastic. John, did you tell me you are going into HR?
Yes.
Wow, you did good. So for a person who is a lawyer to go into HR, so HR is something really special. Fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit about MIDA, the company you work for?
MIDA is a government contractor, but it's a little different from the regular contractors that we know, like Accenture, Booz Allen. We're called, it's an FFRDC. FFRDC means Federally Funded Research and Development Organization. So we work in the interest of the federal government. We support the DoD, HHS, IRS, you name it, any federal agency in the area we have contracts with. And I'm an internal consultant, so I help the employees become the best they can to support the federal government.
So about how many employees?
7,000.
7,000?
Yeah, it's based in McLean, Virginia, and we have another branch in Boston, Massachusetts. But majority of the employees are in Myra, in McLean, but a lot of the employees go to the federal government site and work there. They help the federal government employees to do their best in what they do, supporting the nation.
Fantastic. So how many of us are here? Maybe 60? 60? Just six numbers.
47.
47? 47 divided by 7,000, we are what percent? Definitely. I'm just imagining. Okay. Martha, here's my first question. What is one thing you did, since we are more about soft skills, what is one thing you did to get, the job at your current job? What did you do? Was there something small, something about you, something about your management, soft skills that got you this job?
I don't know about soft skills, but I think the fact that I changed from law to HR.
Martin, can you get louder?
The mic is our.
Is it?
The fact you came from lawyer into HR was impressive.
Yes.
Okay.
Impressive is changing strategy and then using your skill set or my skill set that I have learned as a lawyer to apply it into another profession, which is complementing it. I hear a lot of Ethiopians who came as airline technicians, whatever. How do they augment that, change that, and add something to it, and then become a different professional, or then go into any field that they want to go into? So it's very impressive. I helped a lot of people.
Later on we have an opportunity for market reviews, so Martha will be one of them, and Fakar will be one of them, and a bunch of you who are employers will be part of that, so there will be a one-on-one conversation. So here is my favorite question. My really favorite question is, what's your most joyous part of your job? What part of your job do you enjoy the most?
Empowering people. As a lawyer, I think it was about helping people, and when I changed profession, it's about empowering people, helping people solve the problem, and then making them the best they are. That's all. I enjoy my job every day.
So Martha, I really need to do tours. Can you just give us maybe one example? One day, someone showed up and they forgot their tie and got something. That's just it.
What I do
an
during the
example,
day?
An example of maybe how you help someone. Just one example you can give us.
So an employee, for instance, an employee forgets to send a time card or charge the time card incorrectly, and they're going to get in trouble for falsification of information. So asking the employee why they charge that time and backing it out from the federal government and helping them to have it zero or take PTO and then start over again. Otherwise, the next step will be to be terminated from the training.
Good example. Okay, last but not least. So is there one thing that is kind of more like a Martha habit that's helping you to be successful in the position you are in?
Yes, and I can say it in one word, self-motivation.
Okay.
I always motivate myself, and I'm always learning. There's no stopping of learning. So whatever profession you're in, there is always an opportunity for learning new things and motivating yourself every day to do better in whatever you do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing.
25 or 26 different sponsors, and we graded them into different groups, like the gold sponsors and partners. For example, as a gold sponsor and strategic partner, that's a company that's owned by this is Kappa Mission Corporation. They are also our gold sponsor and strategic partner. We have three of them. There is Zenlis Dairy and Gold Market right here on Clinton Avenue. This is a restaurant you can see. It's up and coming. For those of you who were here last month, Noodles and Company provided the food. There was so much food, we ended up taking some home. It was really delicious food. And I made sure that the address is the one here in Silver Springs. Pro Leadership, another business owned by an Ethiopian developer, developing future leaders. This is Tota Show presentation. I believe at least one of them were here last month with us. Targeted technology. Maybe we should have Nasan, let's say a couple of words there on about this amazing place. This is, I brought this on purpose. Ba'alu Gurma, most of you might have known Ba'alu Gurma, an author who is not with us here anymore. We have a foundation for him. I'm one of the directors, and I just brought him here as a presentation. I want to, if you could go back to that, to the other one, the next one, and if you could just hold it. This one I want to talk about, so that the name of our sponsors in there, there's one more that we haven't put in there, 25 sponsors, and the different levels are there, and just a small chart that we're showing you. Our basic idea is, these are even sponsors, and as we go on to, these are the gold sponsors. Our plan is hopefully to transfer, to add more in here, and then transfer some of them to this level. That's going to be depending on the level of participation that we will be able to get from these companies. I think I should do it. I want to transfer this to Gabe.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, next we have Mashal in a few minutes. Before then, I want to invite Delegate Wilkins to come up here to say a few words. I just want to thank Delegate Wilkins for being here. She represents, is it regional District 20? District 20, so she's an elected state official by the people, for the people. So you want to come up here and say a few words? There you go.
Good evening again, everyone. I am Delegate Janelle Wilkins. I represent this area, the Silver Spring area, and also Tacoma Park. I represent and help make state laws. So I'm a state elected official. And I just want to welcome everyone, whether you've been here in the United States for a few weeks, a few months, or several years. I just want to thank you for choosing Maryland. I want to thank you for being a part of this community. We live in one of the most diverse areas of the entire nation, and our Ethiopian community in particular is so large and has opened up so many small businesses that have been really impactful here in our state, and we're very proud of that. So I want to welcome you and thank all of you. I was actually born in Kingston, Jamaica, so I certainly understand the experience of being an immigrant and migrating, and I grew up actually in Delaware with my mother and my brother, and I moved to this area about almost 10 years ago, but I certainly understand the challenges of assimilating into a new community, and that's why I think that 21st century is so important, the work that you're doing here. So I commend you for all that you're doing to increase your skills and move into different fields and rise up in terms of the work that you're doing. So I'm here to just welcome you and say thank you, and that you are a part of this community, and have a wonderful time tonight. Thank you so much, Gabe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you waited for. So let me kind of just give you just a little background for those of you who are new. How many of you are here for the first time? First time. All right. 70% of you. I'm a mathematician. I'll prove it. Listen, a month ago, my wife was sitting there. She was beating me in cards. And my friend there, they would beat me 7 times, and maybe I win 1. And guess what? I'm winning now. You know why? Practice.
For a very long time, and then I had to move up here because that's where a job was, so I cried and I moved up here as well. So, you know, moving around it's exciting, you get to experience new things, but it's also hard. So, you know, I appreciate Gabe's comments that, you you feel at home everywhere, but again, please nod your head. I'll depend on you nodding your heads so that I know I'm speaking about something that resonates with you, but I didn't always feel at home. Every time I moved, there was always something. There was always something new to learn, something new to relearn. For example, moving from the UAE to Toronto, it was common for friends to hug and kiss and just be very, very physical and always. And then I moved to North America, and at least in Toronto, that wasn't how they operated. And so at some point, my friends had to say, okay, you just really need to just stay there. And we like you, but you really need to, no more kisses. So okay, I had to learn, okay, don't kiss my friends, at least in this place. And then moving there also from Toronto to Texas, just moving to North America in general, also things with language, right? Elevator and escalator. I had to learn which was which. One escalates and one elevates. Okay, I figured this, I'll draw it. Lift. Lift makes so much more sense, but no, here we elevate, apparently. So that's what we do. So things like that, telling temperature, so nod your head if you've had to encounter even these small things where people looked at you like, why did you call that shopping cart a trolley? Why is that? And so it's not always comfortable going somewhere and being different or encountering things that are different, because we know maybe in a perfect world, we know what we like and we like what we know. Wouldn't it be so nice as everybody, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your partner, your husband, your wife, if only they all were just on the same page as you on everything, right? Some nodding heads like, yes, And so that's tempting, but that's not reality. And even when you look deeper, one of the slides mentioned Stephen Covey, this famous marketer. He talked about how strength really lies in differences more than similarities. So the things that make us different are what actually make us strong versus things that make us the same. So even with that networking bingo sheet that we went through tonight, some of us are from the same place or we live in the same neighborhood, but there's a difference between being the second oldest of 21 children like Gabe, and for those of you who are the babies, anyone the youngest in their family? I can't be the only one who is the youngest sibling, right? The babies, right? And then all of you in the middle, and we don't remember you. It's okay. No one remembers you. Oh, good. So we've shared a lot about where we're from, so we can keep moving forward. That's a bit about where I'm from. Keep it going. Okay. So this idea of feeling different, it's always going to happen to you. So even being in the same country, we always think about geographic differences, right? Well, I'm not from this place. But think about those of you who have changed careers. Or even you stayed in the same career, but you've changed employers. Yeah, so nod your head if you're like, yes, I see you, yes. Because I did not start out as a career coach. I did not start out in higher education. I started out as a market researcher. My big plan was, when I leave college, I had a 10-year plan. The first step was to like market research, which is that's not a good plan. Your plan should never start with liking something, but I knew better. Because I went into market research and I thought, this is very interesting, data analysis, pulling stories out of numbers. There's some of you in the room who do that work. And it was fine, it just wasn't the right fit. So then I had to change careers and figure some things out, and now I'm in higher education working as a career coach. But even changing companies, changing departments, has anyone here just changed departments within their own company? It's different, right? So even at work, the challenges of encountering things that are different, it's always going to come up. So we can, let's I'm going to try to catch up to where we are. Okay, good. So other than the networking bingo, right, some of us have pets, some of us don't. How are we different? And feel free to yell out. This is your chance to yell out. We look different, yeah. What else? Faith. Ah, she's getting right into it. Yeah. Faith. Experience, gender. Thinking, perspective. Someone said process. Dreams and goals. Oh my goodness, what a deep group. What else? Objectives. Yeah, our goals. So there's so many ways that people are different, right? Cultural backgrounds. There was someone, you had mentioned you have 3 children, right? Are all the 3 the exact same? Not at all. They were born, you thought, okay, I see. Being organized versus, those of us who are working on it, right? So we're different in many ways. So thinking about these differences, either differences we can see or differences we can't see, how have you seen this impact your work life, even working on a team? How have you noticed these differences make an impact, positive or negative?
Flexibility.
Can you expand flexibility?
You have to make yourself flexible and accommodate differences.
Okay. Is there a story you're thinking about when you tell me that? The need to be flexible and accommodate for differences. Okay.
Yeah, but someone looks at the star, someone looks at the dark.
Oh my goodness. Sometimes you have someone who looks at the stars and someone who looks at the darkness. You should come up here. Let's just do that. This is good. Let's just do it. Yeah, and so we're going to look at some scenarios tonight. So think about this. And some of you are already thinking about it, and some of you are thinking about it and wondering how to tell the story best, about maybe challenges you've encountered. But just so you know, I should have mentioned this. So I've hosted the last couple of webinars, the weekly webinars, and I'm very big on stories, talking in class. So feel free, let me know if you have a story you want to share. So we'll keep going. So to get I have to get a little academic, right? I'm in higher education. So for those of you who are professors, right, just grant me this one thing. So when we talk about cultural competence, what are we really talking about? And the literature speaks about, in a way, 3 aspects to competence: awareness, knowledge, and skills relating to how to work with others who are different. And so let's expand on each one. So the first step, right, is awareness. And we all get this, right? And we know the networking bingo was part of it. Okay, we're all different. Being aware that there are others who are different and what are our reactions to that. Right? So it's one thing to say, yeah, I know we're all different. But it's another thing to be aware of what that means to us. Do you act differently? Are there assumptions you're making? So for example, as an Indian, one may assume that I'm late to everything. And it can happen. But actually, my family is usually too early to all the weddings. So, thinking about assumptions, what are your biases? And these don't necessarily come from a place of malice. They don't necessarily come from a bad place. These are just things that we need to be aware of. So we'll start there. The next step is knowledge. So awareness is about us. Knowledge is about others. What are the experiences of others? And these may be experiences that we don't understand. And as I'm going to go through this talk with you tonight, right, let's just say it, we're in a climate currently where there's a lot of discussion about awareness about ourselves and knowledge of what others may be experiencing. What are their perspectives? How do they view the world? And so we can look at this in a few different ways, but it can also be within the workplace. It can be as simple as how we communicate with each other. So now for the third step, taking that awareness of ourselves, taking that knowledge of where others are coming from, and combining those and using our skills to really wield those in a powerful way, right? Being able to behave appropriately when interacting with others who are different. So when I talk about behaving appropriately, by the way, I don't necessarily mean you have to conform, right? You have to change who you are, that kind of thing. We're going to talk a lot tonight about back and forth and sort of mutual work when it comes to working with differences, okay? And so the goal tonight is that you're going to walk away thinking either differently or having some confirmation in how you approach working with others who are different, which means everybody, by the way. When I say those who are different, I mean everybody. Just throw a rock. Don't throw a rock, but if you did, there's someone who's different. But the idea is that we need to work together as a community, right? 21st century community is a community. So how do we make this place safe for people coming from a variety of backgrounds, either geographic or otherwise? Okay. So let's talk tonight about 3 main areas. There's a longer list out there, it's about 6. But these are 3 main areas we're going to talk through tonight where differences can really make an impact on your work life. And I know you're looking at this and some of you have the stories. I see it brewing. So we're going to talk about communication, managing conflict, and completing tasks. So first, with communication. So for communication, we can move forward. Thinking about your work life, what are some issues you might see relating to communication where, you just have people who are operating differently? And I want specific stories. I'll take one story. What's an issue that might come up?
Like you were talking about.
Right, so let's follow up that story with another story, which is not real, but I'm sure it's happened. So I have a name for him, but let's name him. What's his name?
Jeff.
What's his name?
Jeff.
Jeff? Okay, there's a Joffrey, which we can do too. Jeff. So this is Jeff. This is Jeff on his first day of work. He's come into the office, he's met his boss, and his boss said, "Great, Jeff, welcome, here's your first assignment. Have it done by the end of the day." This is a horrible first day of work. But have this assignment done by the end of the day. Let me know if you have questions. And then his boss goes to his office, closes the door, and Jeff starts working. Jeff suddenly has questions, but the door's closed, so he's not really sure what to do. And so he thinks about this. So if we go to the next slide. If you were Jeff, what would your next step be? Email? Any other ideas?
But if he's new, he may not have an email account set up. So
Text. Oh, John's ready for they may not have an email. Okay, so email if it's
his first day, probably.
First day. Text.
I will go and knock the door.
Knock the door. Some of you are saying go knock on the door. Okay. Think. Oh, you might wait. See if he opens the door. Okay. Oh, so some few different paths. So someone said email. Would everyone in the room be okay with email? Or are there those of you who are like, I don't know? There's no right answer, I'm just asking. No? Someone said text.
Text might be better because nowadays email is not the first thing. People, and they have hours. Usually I look my email after lunch.
Okay.
After lunch. So if that thing came in between, I will be looking at it. Knock on the door. Guarantee.
Just go knock on no question. Yes.
I check if he's busy, because if the door is closed, it might mean that he's in a meeting with somebody. And if he isn't in the meeting with somebody, or if he is, I'm late, and then after that person left, I'm
Yeah. So see how certain some of us are about this? Go ahead. Oh, check with the coworkers. Hey, what does that mean? He closes the door. Oh, okay. So see how certain some of us are about what we... Guaranteed, I'm knocking on the door. For sure, I'm texting him, right? And some of us are like, I don't know, right? So we all have different... We're all perceiving this situation differently, yeah? So let's go back, see what's going on. So this is what happens. Jeff just sees a closed door and thinks, I don't know. So he asks his coworker for help because he's stuck on this project he needs to finish. His coworker's kind of helpful, but actually not that helpful. But in the end, Jeff finishes the project and sends it to his boss. And then his boss calls him into his office and is upset because the project wasn't done well, whatever this assignment was. Again, this is not a good first day of work. But it doesn't go well, then I guess they have an argument, I don't know. But it doesn't really turn out that well. So what happened? What happened here? Yeah, there's some perceptions, misperceptions. What are some ways that this could have been a better situation? How could it have been handled better? Even thinking about just the communication, right?
I think when he got the first assignment, you should ask if you have a question. How to boss with him to do the job.
Yeah, that could have been something. Right, could the supervisor? Yeah, could the supervisor said, hey, I'm gonna go shut my door, but just knock on it if you need me. Or, call me or something like that, right? Okay, so I think if we go to the next, and we've talked about this a little bit already, but what can we learn from this particular scenario, right? It's a very small scenario, but has anyone here been in a similar situation where new boss, you're figuring it out, and there were some misunderstandings along the way? So what can we learn from this regarding how we might think about our communication styles or how flexible we can be?
Establish the right expectations from the beginning.
Yeah, maybe try to communicate about how you communicate. And, not everyone's going to perfectly align with your communication style, and you're not going to get it right the whole time either, but having that continued conversation about communication, that's important. It doesn't matter where this person's from, right? So actually in these scenarios we'll go through tonight, where I pulled them from, they talk a lot about where the people are from. So the boss was German, and I forget where Jeff was from. But I took all that out because it doesn't actually, it can help you, but it doesn't really matter because, we're all Ethiopian tonight, according to Gabe. We're all, I hope, honorary, if you'll accept me. No, she's like, no, we're not going to do that. And that's okay, we don't have to do that. So, but you're not all the same. We're not all the same. Okay, so let's keep going. So we've already experienced a little bit about conflict today, but let's talk about conflict. So, conflict at work. None of us have experienced this, but should it happen to you one day? What issues might arise? What differences do you see when it comes to conflict at work? Power struggle. Okay, can you be more specific? Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's something I'm going to pull from what you said, right? He was talking about when there's competition for a job and, people smile. But if I haven't seen the new season of House of Cards, so don't tell me what happens. But, they smile, but there's a lot happening. So let's talk about that. So when conflict comes up at work, right, even if it's about, this issue with the boss or something like that, think about how you handle conflict versus others. So maybe there are those who they're like, it's okay, it's no problem. What else comes up? What are other styles that you've seen? Avoidance? Okay, so for some it's like, I'm not touching that, it's fine. What else? What are other styles you've seen?
Gossip.
Say again?
Gossip.
Gossip. Yeah, it's fine. Can you believe? Did you know? Yeah. What else? So even there's that difference between, right, direct versus indirect. So tell me if this is you, if someone, makes a mistake on a project and, you're kind of overseeing them, are you the type to say, this is wrong and it needs to be corrected? That's definitely okay? No? Okay, and some of you may be like, you're doing a great job, I appreciate the hard work you're doing, how are you doing, all is good, okay. I just wanted to point out that, this part is good, but on this part, I think this could be better in this way. Yeah. Right? So has anyone here had bosses where it was kind of the opposite of what you like, where maybe you like to get feedback, you like constructive feedback, but maybe gently, you don't want to be told, this is wrong, but you had a boss who did that? Anyone have an experience like that? Or the opposite, where you want someone to just tell you, hey, fix this, but then you had a boss who was like, hey, how are you doing? I just wanted you to know that you all are miserable thinking about that. So these are just different styles that come out, right?
Is that different from, co-workers or bosses that patronize you or they want to play goody two-shoes?
Oh my goodness.
Is that what you just mean? Is that different? I think it's basically the same way.
Maybe. I'm not sure what she means, like when you pull in the goody two-shoes. But this idea of indirect versus direct, right? There's a preference that people have for each, and it can create challenges because if someone's direct to someone who's not as direct, they may kind of think, oh, why is that person so aggressive? Whereas it's the opposite, right? Oh my, this person keeps beating around the bush. Why do they do this? Just get to the point. And I see a lot of you are in that camp. So if we keep moving forward, addressing these issues. So let's say you are in that dynamic where you have a different preference for how you want to receive feedback or manage conflict, right? Maybe you want to just address it directly, but others don't. How might you address these issues? Or how have you addressed these issues before? Directly? But some aren't open to that. So maybe, are you talking more about, like, to your point earlier, let's communicate about, hey, look, I prefer to communicate in this way, but, how can we make this work, right? Because there are folks who prefer to be very direct, who may have to learn, okay, with this particular person, I'm going to have to, it's going to hurt, but I'm going to have to use more words than I want to. Whereas others who, are a little less direct, they may have to learn, okay, for this particular person, I need to just tell them, and it'll be okay, right? So just having those conversations can help, or understanding, oh, that's what that person prefers, how can I make this relationship productive, okay? So let's go into a story. What's his name? He's very upset. Kevin? No? Is that okay? Okay. So he's very stressed. So this is a director, and he oversees 2 managers, one man, one woman. And he finds that every time that the two managers have a conflict, the man will always come to him. Did this and this, like, I'm having a lot of trouble here, you know, keeps going to him. And so this is the particular situation you're in. And so if we move to the next question, what would you do if you were Kebede? Is that correct? I know. So how would you handle this particular situation? You're this director, you have this manager coming to you whenever this manager has a conflict with that manager. Just put him in a class. Yeah. HR behind you is like, stop, just stop it. Put him in a class. What were you going to say? Okay. Okay, so hear what's going on the other side. Talk to the other party. Call a meeting for the three of them and talk about what? How would you handle this meeting? So let's say the other party doesn't know that this manager is coming to you. Oh no, it's drama now. The manager emails you, you just CC the other manager. You know, that's a choice. That is a choice. That is a decision. Okay, so let's look at what happens next. So he basically asks the manager, hey, are you coming to me because the other manager is a woman? And the male manager is suddenly very offended and he says, no, I just, I'm trying to preserve my relationship with this other manager and I'd rather come to you. And so that's how this ended. So what happened? I know it's not a satisfying ending, but that's what seemed to be happening. So what happened here? Or what could have been done better?
So the director made assumptions? Or? Yeah.
The director made an assumption. He was like, hey, are you sexist? That's kind of what he did. It's like, ooh, careful. So even in conflict here, right, we have assumptions, right? Oh, you're doing this because I'm XYZ. You're acting this way because that person is something, something. And again, I mean, maybe not, but to sort of jump to that is a little harsh. Hmm? Yeah, so get his side, like, okay, so what's concerning you here? And then start coaching them on how to address it with that manager. That could be a path as well, right? Okay. You had something to add, I think, so we can skip forward a couple. Did you have something to add? Oh, you just took a breath, that's all. I just really caught it. And finally, we're going to talk about completing tasks. For those of you particularly, well, I imagine all of us have, if not now, we've worked on teams before. And we know not everyone completes tasks at the same pace that we do. Yeah? So, if we explore tasks, what issues might you see? How are people different when it comes to completing tasks? You're smiling. I know you have stories, you just don't want to share. So looking especially on that side of the room with all the engineers and IT and tech, I'm looking at you too.
Disengagement.
So has anyone been on a team where there was a team member who just wasn't contributing? Now, was it that they didn't contribute at all, or was it that they were contributing at a different pace, perhaps? Both. You have some stories. We should talk after. I can make them my new stories. Yeah, so when it comes to completing tasks, you'll often find differences, particularly when it comes to what comes first, relationships within the team or the task itself. So you'll often hear these comparisons between Eastern and Western cultures, and they're kind of true, but it can overlap between the two. But there's often this view that, you have those folks and they focus on relationships. Hey, let's get to know you. Hey, you got kids? Your baby's so cute. If the baby came to the work meeting, right? You're getting to know each other, and the task is happening, right? Then we're gonna get to work. For some people that kind of overlaps, and for others, they're like, that's good, you're my coworker, but let's just do the work. Right, so think about where you fall in that spectrum, right? Do you find that you get impatient if others aren't getting to the task right away, getting on the project right away? Like, do we have to go to this happy hour? Why do we have to have lunch to kick this off? Can't we just work? And some of you may like to build those relationships in the beginning. And so I see some youths in the room. It happens a lot, even high school and beyond. So think about that. Now, as you think about where you land on that spectrum, what issues come up? So there's this kind of perception like, this person is just not working. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes someone just isn't doing the work, and that's an issue. But what issues have you encountered when you've kind of had that difference in, I want to do the task, or I want to build relationships with people?
Kind of storming, fighting each other.
Fighting each other. Oh. The real estate world is so... Yeah, so there could be conflicts, right? Like, why aren't you getting your work done? What's happening? Can't you focus so we can get this done sooner? Yes?
Some people could be pushy.
See the other end. Why is this person so pushy? I'm going to get the work done. There's a deadline and I will get it done. Okay, so let's dig into a story. And I want to be respectful of your time as well. So we're coming close. So we'll keep going. Okay. So there is a person in this. So let's give this person a name. A woman. Let's give her a name. Jenny? My goodness, okay. So Jenny has an agreement with a buyer. She has a buyer who wants to purchase bicycles from her. The bicycles are made in China. So Jenny has now come to China. That could be China. It's probably not. But Jenny's now come to China to meet with the supplier to do a check on the bicycle, batch, the shipment. So Jenny's, sort of in there, and she's playing around with the bicycle, and she notices that, there's something wrong with it. There's something kind of rickety about it. This is a problem because she has a buyer waiting for this shipment. And so, the question is, what would you do if you were Jenny?
If this bike is bought as is, I have to call the client, the purchaser, the person who's waiting for the delivery, tell them the situation and let them know that it will take a little longer, maybe one more, and then, let them know how long it will take to be delivered because of what happened. If it is purchased as is, but if it is not, I guess.
So we'll pretend like there's still room to, it could be something where you just go to the buyer and say, hey, there's a little delay, let me back to you. Okay. So then what happened? So this is the only time I mentioned where someone was from in a story. I did this for a reason. And again, it's not to stereotype, so we'll take this with a grain of salt. So they went to China to pick up the shipment, right? So this is how the story ends. Jenny and the supplier, there's a particular person, she says, hey, let's go for a bike ride on a couple of these bikes in your shipment. And so they go on a bike ride, they get to know each other, they're in the country and all this stuff. And then at the end of the ride, they come back to the factory. And then Jenny says, you know what I noticed on the bike ride? Which was such a nice bike ride with you. There's just something happening here with the widget thing. I can't ride a bicycle, I'm sorry. But there's something weird here. And then the supplier thought, oh no, okay, we'll fix that. And then they were able to get it fixed and shipped to the buyer on time. So this is a weird plot twist, right? Why do you think she would have done that? Why didn't Jenny just say, hey man, we have an agreement, what is this? Or why didn't Jenny just go straight to the supplier and say, hey, there's an issue. You see this with the bicycle. Can you investigate and fix this? Why would she go on a bike ride?
She must have been saved by
What was that?
It's saved the buyer.
Say what to the buyer? So do you see there were two, avoid confrontation, build relationships. You see how you have the two perceptions there, right? So there's some of us, if we were the supplier, we would have just been like, you should have just told me, why'd you take me on this bike ride for an hour to tell me that there's something wrong with my bicycle? Where someone else would have thought, oh, like, okay, so you're willing to tell me that there was something wrong with the bicycle, right? So there are no right or wrong answers with these scenarios, just different. But do you see how the different perceptions come up? So this easily could have become a problem. But in Jenny's particular case, Jenny may not prefer to do a bike ride. It's possible she's very much like, hey, this bike is broken. But in thinking about her audience, she was like, well, how do I communicate no negative consequences and we can still maintain this relationship with the supplier, assuming that it's a good relationship, right? So these are some things we can learn. So I do have a bonus scenario, but I think I'm going to skip it because it's a little past 8:30 and I want to be mindful of time. So let's skip ahead a little bit. I know, it was so exciting. It was such a good look, but that's okay. And so we've talked a lot tonight about the things that make us different, right? And in a way, if you looked around the room, some ways that we're the same. And I don't mean about things you can see. It can be about the way you communicate, the way you handle conflict, the way you complete tasks. And so thinking about, again, the awareness of where you're coming from, right? So for you, you know, this is how I like to handle conflict. This is how I perceive people who handle conflict in a different way. And I'm just going to have to really think about how do we meet in the middle, if we can, or just being aware if this is the difference we're dealing with. Knowledge of where others are coming from. Why are they choosing to build relationships for a lot longer than I'm comfortable with before getting into the work? And then finally, skills, right? How can I communicate the way I communicate? Hey, this is my communication style. What's your style? How can we make this work together? And so the idea is that at the end of the day, we can walk away and be able to demonstrate to our employers, our clients, our business partners that we're able to work with a variety of people. And in the end, that is what, to Gabe's point, that's what can help you advance. You know, it's more than being able to do the work, but if you can actually handle people, because you have to all the time, whether you like it or not, your ability to handle people who are different, that's what really helps power your upward movement and upward mobility where you work and in your business. You know, I look at the realtor in the back. You're going to need to work with a lot of different people. So you don't have to be a realtor to have to do this to be successful. So thank you so much for having me. And I hope to get to know you a little bit more tonight, but I know Gabe's got an action-packed agenda to round out your evening. So thank you again so much. And again, my name is Michelle. It's nice to meet you.
To share a little bit of a story of my own related to cultural competence. So I'll spend maybe like 2 minutes. And Binyam over there has the same, kind of relates to the same story because I'm going to talk about my high school experience because I think it had a significant impact in terms of who I am today and how I relate, how I basically conduct myself both at work and basically everywhere. So this high school is called United World College. There are about, is it 20? I think less than 20 colleges, high school level colleges around the world. And the one I went to was in Swaziland. It's a small, tiny country next to South Africa. So the idea is, so they bring students from all over the world at such a young age, between 16 and 19 most of the time. Their mission is, of course, to give you world-class education, but at the same time create or develop these global citizens, right? You have people, kids from all over the world eating together, playing together, and there are programs, extracurricular programs designed to sort of help us interact with each other, begin to appreciate each other's culture and get out of this comfort zone of our own, right? Like I'm from southern part of Ethiopia, and a lot of people here are probably from Addis, the capital. And if they hear me speak Amharic, they might even ask me, which part of Addis are you from, right? And I tell them, like, I'm not even from Addis, right? I'm from the south. The reason why I mention that is because being born in the south by itself sort of shaped my worldview, because there are like 80 ethnic groups in Ethiopia, and more than half of those are from one state in the south, and I'm from that state. So I grew up with all sorts of people, and basically listening to different languages, different backgrounds of all sorts. So that sort of helped me. But then to take that to the next level, the high school was very critical. Basically what it helped me do was have that awareness, so I can start to appreciate other people's culture, and it's not just me, like it's not just about my culture. Everyone sort of loves their own culture, right? And as much as you want to keep talking about your culture, you also want to give time to other people to express themselves and understand where they are coming from. And this actually prepared me very well for college and then grad school after that. So I'm sharing this because it's really important. It's really important that we sort of get out of our comfort zone and begin to celebrate difference practically. It's not just about, okay, yeah, I know there are people of different background here and there, right? But really begin to internalize that and to become a little bit more of a global citizen, because especially if you are going to be working in the USA, you're not going to be working with Ethiopians only, right? You'll be interacting with Indians, Chinese, and all kinds of people, and you're gonna need this sort of skill. So one last thing, one way to practice this sort of I guess is it a behavior or I don't know, is like a lot of us sort of hang out with people of our own almost every day, right? We hang out with Ethiopians, we go out for dinner or whatever together, right? Start hanging out with other people, right? People that are not always close to you, right? And that helps, because like I said again, you will not take these friends of yours to work. They won't be there with you. So you gotta prepare yourself for work, for your workplace. And Bini, do you want to add a couple of things?
You did an excellent job.
Yeah, so I'll stop there. That was just a 2-minute thing. Gabe will take over, and he will moderate the next session, which is really interesting.
Thank you.
Is that for me? All right, I'm back. You know what? Can we just take 1 minute and go over and meet someone? Don't say a word, not a word. Just a smile. Just give them a smile. 1 minute, 1 minute. So you can just get up. Yeah, 1 minute. Okay? Okay? No, move around. It's a lot. Okay. 3, 2, when I say 1, in your seats, please. Again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, in your seats. Thank you so much. Okay, one more time, I just want to say, Michelle, thank you so much for coming out and doing an amazing presentation. I heard it the second time. It gets better. Every time I hear the story, it kind of like gets deeper and deeper. And my one takeaway, I'm always quick to judge. If Nagasi is like, if Nagasi is frowning at me, I say, this guy doesn't like me. But then, he may have a $1,000 bill he has to write a check and waiting for his paycheck to come. So I think, based on what I heard is, before I judge, maybe look what's on the other end, other alternatives. Especially when you mix in culture, there may be different ways people respond. So it's just always nice to hear their perspective, not be quick to judge, and kind of look the other way and find a way you can, kind of maintain the relationship. Okay, I don't want to knock this mountain again. Okay, we have a fun activity for you. For those of you who are here, I want to see hands of those who work in mid-sized or large organizations where you are either a hiring manager or potentially a hiring manager. Can I see hands? You are either a hiring manager or sometimes your organization may hire. I want to see hands. And I see Hannah over there. I see, let's see, Nagasi there. I see Bahailu there. I see Martha there. I see Fakadu there. How about more people? Okay. Yes, James is there. Even if you were a hiring manager once upon a time, that's good enough, because what you are looking for is how to fish, not the actual fish. If you happen to have a fish in your pocket, it's okay to give it, but you are looking for how to fish. So we'll be doing that. We'll do a mock interview, and we'll continue to do more like networking. There is a networking bingo. We have giveaways. So we have a total of 16 people you are supposed to meet. If you meet 16, you get the top prize. And if you get 14, you get, so we kind of go down the list like we did a month ago. So we're counting on you doing that. Before then, we just want to show you like a couple of things about 21st Century Community. We have a website, and I want to tell you we are work in progress. We are a very young organization. Check it out. Check it out, YouTube. Check it out. So we're kind of working our way up. So the website is being built, pictures and ads and everything is going to look very good in a month. And we also have an app that our friend, Kone built. So how about we give Kone a few minutes to just talk about the app, so that, all these videos and articles and presentations, all the webinars that you missed, that on demand you can get them. So how about Kone take a few minutes?
A few minutes, okay. Let's do it quickly. I'm introducing about 21st Century app. So I want to check how many of you do have the app. All right, let's say a few people. Can you write down, at least we would like you guys to go down and go to App Store or Play Store and search for something that says 21st century community. So you will see the app with the logo, with the 21st century logo. The app gives you a whole list of our sponsors, our strategic partners, what do we have about the webinar, what are the current news about 21st century, and we do have a lot of other valuable information about 21st century. So it would be a great support for 21st century community if you download the app. It is one of the great networking tool to connect with each other, how to search jobs, job-related information. And we also have another app which is we are developing for our strategic partners. One of them is Ethiopia. It is a global directory. So most of about the 25 strategic partners and sponsors, they are listed with an Ethiopia. Ethiopia is also another strategic partner to 21st century. What it does is any Ethiopian business globally, anywhere in the world, it's listed there. So you will have a great connection with every company. So that's why I listed Ethiolist. It is one of the first apps in addition to 21st century. You can download both apps. If you want to see our sponsors, our strategic partners, you will find them there. So did you guys, any question about the app? Did you see it in App Store? 21st century with a logo, with the 21st century logo. Just download it, give us a comment. You can fill a form, you can send us an email from there. You can see our YouTube videos, you can see our Facebook, what is posted within the 21st century Facebook. Everything is listed over there. So any question I can to answer for you guys. All right, before you go out, I will ask each one of you, if you need help, just talk to me. I can help you to download the app. Thank you.
How about a big hand for Kona? He's the one who really built the app for us from scratch. Talk about figuring things out. I mean, the last I checked, Kona is not a programmer, he's a program manager, right? But he just figured it out and did it. So, I mean, I do a lot of volunteer work with Kona. So whatever he says he'll do it. So it's just a good man of honor. You know what? The next $1 million lotto I win is going to him. It's a promise. He deserves it. Okay, let me just very briefly tell you about a couple of upcoming events. So we're really big in networking. Okay, actually I did 3 webinars and presentations on networking. I have been a networking evangelist. Have you heard of that? Net evangelist. Have you heard of that? I invented it. Okay, so I'm big on it on networking. So one rule, if you forget everything I said, I'll say in the future. When you go to a meeting, you have your friends. You don't sit next to your friends. You sit next to a complete stranger. Guess what? By the time you are done, you have made one more friend. Okay? Now, exception. If it is your wife, please sit with your wife. If it's your husband, please, I'm not violating that. But I violated that a few times, but I'm still okay. So, I suggest that you sit with someone you don't know so that you meet them. So, that's just one point there, okay? With that said, to continue our Happy Hour Career Networking. We call it Happy Hour Career Networking. So we have 2 events coming up, okay? One is here in Maryland, in Silver Spring downtown, at Zenny's. Actually, she was the one who hosted our very first dinner, right? Zenny's, behind the event and talk to her, and next thing you know, she's in. So this guy knows how to convince, So she's one of the hosts of our upcoming Happy Hour Career Networking. It will be on the 2nd Thursday of every month. The 2nd Thursday of every month we'll be there. There will be free food, and then discounted drinks, and then you'll be able to navigate and network and meet other people. Hopefully we're going to bring a lot of hiring managers and people who are in different professions, so that's that. Okay? And then the last, yes sir?
Can we ask everyone to mark their calendars for June 15th?
June 15th, yes. The next one is June 15th. It's not required. It's not required. It's just an evening. You can spend together, hang out together, June 15th. Okay? I think, we used to do this in Virginia a few years ago. It's a blast. It's an amazing place to network, to meet people, to hire, to find talent if you are an employer, and also if you are looking for work, it's an amazing place to meet people in a relaxed atmosphere. And also for Virginia, we did not forget Virginia. And guess what? I'm from Virginia, but I love this town. I love this town. If any of you are becoming a mayor, I think you can just buy me. Anyways, with that said, North Virginia, okay, Maaza is there. So the Maaza event is going to be the last Thursday of every month. The last Thursday of every month. It will be at Maaza's. All of these events are on those days from 5 to 8. So it will be a very relaxed atmosphere where you'll be networking your hearts out. And I know people who walk away from these relationship building, where you have people people you can call for promotional opportunities and growth. So that's all about the networking. Now here's what I want to do. So I want to have all the hiring managers to come up here, the Hannas of the world, and Kona, if you don't mind coming up here, Nagasi, if you don't mind coming up here. You can take your own. You can take your own little, place over there. Okay, Martha can come up there, Hannah can come up there, but Adu, you don't need my permission. Please come out, And so you guys can just have your own corner over there, just different places so that. Now, here are the rules of engagement, okay? Okay, you can be on the side so that there isn't kind of noise interference, okay? Yet you have sometimes, right? Come on out. There is no prize for this one. There is no prize. There is no, so Fakari can be at that corner over there, okay? So, wait a minute, Baharu. Listen, the definition is so well defined. Masfan, you are a hiring manager. This can work back. Nagasi, hiring manager, yeah. No, we need you. We need as many of you as possible. Binyamis. Binyam. Abakura. Let me see. Behind you, please. You can spread out. Masfan. You want us to turn this on? Or let's keep on. Okay. Here are the two things. So we are not talking about, you guys looking for work and these guys giving work. That's not what we're talking about. We're just networking. It's informational review or market review. Listen, I have hired people who ended up hiring me. So, you could be hiring us. You never know. I'm not lying. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Some guy hired him for a couple of weeks, and next thing you know, he landed a big job, and I was working for him. So it works, all of us at one point will be working for one another. So no one is up and no one is down, so we kind of need each other. And we are talking about, helping each other learn how to fish. So I'm not going to talk for too long. So you go network. When you do that, here's my two. I keep my rules to just two. Two rules. Two rules, not 10. Just two. Number one, when you talk to the person, another person can listen. It's okay. I do that all the time. You and Michelle may be talking, it just kind of makes in the middle, and I may have an answer to the conversation. So one person may be the focus. It's okay for the for a third person to listen, and then take turns. Okay. And so, Binyam, FDA, right? Yeah. So you are data analyst. Right. Just tell me what to do.
Yeah, so I'm an
electrical engineer.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I'm just orienting for the mock interview.
You got it. Yeah. Good man. You never know. He may have access to ears of his boss. You never know. Fakado owns his own company, Next Gen IT Solutions. You know, they always hire people who do different things. I think he's a guy to talk to. And Hannah, you know, you have people who work all over the world, right? Huh? QA people. QA. We love QA, don't we? Okay. Martha, HR. Doesn't get bigger than that. So what kind of people do you guys hire sometimes? Engineers? All right. Okay. Okay. Computer engineers. Fantastic. Okay. Okay. Okay, Nagasi. CDC, so what kind of people?
IT, mathematicians, medical doctors, engineering, social issues.
Yes. And he's a good man. Tim is a good man. Okay. Behind him. Time phase. Look at him. A scientist, right? Gartner, the biggest company that data analytics, right? There you go. Connor.
Project managers.
Okay.
Security managers.
Okay.
Kind of that kind of area. That's what
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Yafi. So tell us, I mean, you are doing so many things. One of them is?
Financial literacy educator and realtor for 17 years.
Okay. So you can talk to people and maybe give them some pointers, right?
Yeah, I love to help people, and I like to hire people with a strong people personality and very patient and detail oriented. So I've got an opening right now for anybody who has that personality. I'm willing to train them, but you know.
When you go to Yeti, smile, even if you don't meet it. Okay, James.
Okay, leaders, people who want to move up in the world.
Okay, okay. James is, with USDA, Department of Agriculture. All the food we eat that is safe is because James does what he does. Okay, Mesfin. Yes.
I've been hired anyone for the last 5 years, so I need to be disqualified from this.
Hey, I'm not a hiring manager.
Listen, Mesfin shows you how to fish. He has a story by himself. So just,
So
anyway.
it's not just about hiring. Like, if you guys have any questions that we can help with.
It's a marketing review. I think there was a story told about me by someone upstairs. Really, sorry, upstairs, and No. That too. But Eric, the guy upstairs, I was telling a story that he repeated. So to make long story short, when I came to America, I did not have permission to work for a year. So I kept interviewing, and I built interviewing skills and the soft skills, and the first job that came, I aced it. So this is giving you that practice, okay? So with that, we'll let you interview, we'll let you do the kind of the networking, and we'll keep going, okay? All right, done. Okay. You're already done. Listen, if you have, in the meantime, please complete those evaluations. Complete those evaluations. Sandra, recognize? Go ahead. Turn up the road. You be the child. Get it.
make sure they complete. Just make sure people are sitting up. ፈለግን ነው ቦታ ቨርጂኒያ አልተረሳም። እግዚአብሔር ይስጥሽ ስለመጣሽ እግዚአብሔር ይስጥሽ። ገባኝ። አይ ነው በዛን ሰዓት አይወጣም። በዛን ሰዓት ከተወጣ ቀለጥሽ። ግን እግዚአብሔር ይስጥሽ ተገኘሽ። እባክሽ ቤልን ጠጥቂልን እጫዎች እኛ ሁሌ ስምሽን እንዳነሳን አልሚ እንዴ በእምነት ቀጥይ።
ሶሻል ወርኪንግ እንደዚህ እኮ አይገኝም።
እንደሱ በቃ ሰዎቹን ለማደፋፈር ወደፊት እኮ በቂ ጥሩ ቤት ገዢ እንዲሆኑ አንድ ቤት ያለው ሁለት ቤት እንዲኖረው እንደዛ ለማደፋፈር ነው። ገዳያቸው
አንተ ነህ አንድ ጊዜ ሁለት ቤት
ለማድረግ አይቀርም። እዚህ አካባቢ ትገዣለሽ? እዚህ አካባቢ በቃ እዚህ አካባቢ ሳልገዛ ነው። እዚህ አካባቢ ነገር ስላለ እና ሰዎች ምናልስ እንደዚህ እኮ ነው ታሪካቸውን ታላቸው ወይ ምንድናቸው ነው እንደዚህ እኮ ነው እንደዚህ ነው የሚገኘው። ታላቸው ወይ ሀሳብ አላቸው አካባቢ አቤት ወይ ብርታይ
You read research?
ለጊዜው ሪሰርች ትሬኒንግ ነው ላይ ትሬኒንግ ወደ ሰብጀክት ማለት ባለፋርከን እሱ ኦንላይን ደግሞ በፌስቡክ ትሬኒንግ በሌላ በኩል ደግሞ ሰው ከተፈለገ ሰው ማስቀጠል
Trader for a long time.
ወደዛ ውስጥ ብዙ ትሬኒንግ ያሉ እኔም ያውን ስለማውቀው አንዳንድ ኦፖርቹኒቲ አለ training ብቻ ነው የምናደርግ ኮርስ ዲቨሎፕ ኦንላይን ፕሮግራም ስታፍ ሰዎች የተለያየ ስራ ፕሮግራም አናሊስት የተለያየ ሙያ ያሉ ሰዎችን እናቀርባለን። ደበላልቀን እና ሲስተም ማዳመጥ መሻል ከቤት ካውንስልም ስለሆነ
Thank you.